You know that feeling when you order a dental model trimmer that looks perfect in the photos, only to find it sits on your bench like a piece of furniture you can't actually use? I've watched a lot of new tech-savvy students and small office owners bite that same bullet, because the listings promise fast cuts and clean finishes, but never explain how you actually get the dust out of the room or how much space the unit really needs. That hesitation is real, and it's why I wanted to dig deeper before I even hit record. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about what a dry model trimmer is supposed to do. In dental labs, you're often carving plaster or resin models, and you need a way to shave off material quickly without turning the whole thing into a slurry of dust and debris. The traditional approach is a wet grinder, which sprays water, forces you to clean up constantly, and can even warp delicate models. A dry system promises a cleaner workspace, but the trade-off is that you have to manage the dust yourself. That's where the Ray Foster MTD1C with its built-in Cyclone dust collector comes into play. From the moment you unpack the kit, the first thing you notice is the all-in-one nature of it. The package includes the MTD1 dry trimmer, the CDC1 Cyclone collector, a 6-foot vacuum hose, and a set of 10-inch PSA abrasive discs. There's no separate motor you need to buy, no extra table you have to rig. It's a single unit that you can set down on any flat surface. That simplicity solves a common frustration. Many users report spending half an afternoon just trying to mount a motor to a workbench and then discovering the whole thing wobbles when they start cutting. The Ray Foster's adjustable work table locks solid, so the cutting surface stays rigid and you get that flat, smooth finish without the table rocking under pressure. I've walked through a typical day in a small dental lab that just adopted this system. The technician starts by securing a plaster model on the work table, selects the appropriate PSA disc, and fires up the motor. The 1/3 HP capacitor-start motor kicks in quickly, giving a steady spin without the lag you sometimes feel with smaller hobby-grade tools. Within seconds, the disc slices away excess material, and because the unit is dry, the debris goes straight into the Cyclone. The collector uses a vortex to separate the fine dust from the airflow, sending the clean air back out, while the heavier particles fall into the collection bin. In practice, you see a noticeable reduction in airborne particles compared to a standard bench grinder, which means less time spent vacuuming the whole room and fewer health concerns for the staff. Now, who will actually benefit from this setup? If you run a dental lab that processes anywhere from a handful of models a day to a steady flow of 20 plus, the MTD1C pays for itself in time saved on cleanup. It's also a solid option for dental schools where students need a reliable, low-maintenance machine that won't require constant supervision. The fact that it's made in the USA adds a layer of confidence for buyers who care about domestic manufacturing standards. On the other hand, if you're a hobbyist who only trims a few models a month, you might find the upfront cost a bit steep, especially when you consider you'll need the specific 10-inch PSA discs that come with the kit. Those discs are fast-cutting, which is great for production, but they also wear out faster than the thicker, slower-cutting wheels you might already have in your toolbox. In that scenario, you could end up buying extra discs more often than you'd like. Let's get into the practical strengths that set this trimmer apart. First, the Cyclone dust collector truly lives up to its name. Many dry trimmers claim to capture dust, but when you test them, you still see a fine haze hanging in the air. The MTD1C's design creates a strong vortex that pulls the dust into the lower chamber, so the air that exits the unit is noticeably cleaner. In a lab where you're already dealing with gypsum dust, that extra filtration step can make a big difference in overall air quality. Second, the motor's torque is respectable for a 1/3 HP unit. I've seen users on forums complain that smaller motors stall when they hit denser material, forcing them to switch to a wet grinder just to finish the job. The Ray Foster motor maintains a consistent speed even when you press harder, which means you can finish a model in fewer passes. That translates to less wear on the abrasive disc and a smoother final surface. Third, the portability factor is understated but useful, because the system doesn't need to be hooked up to a permanent dust extraction line. You can roll it from one workstation to another with just the 6-foot hose trailing behind. For labs that share space with other equipment or that occasionally need to clear a bench for a different procedure, that flexibility